What's going on, podcast family? Want to thank every single listener out there tuning in to the Stocks is Talking podcast with Ibn Getz. Very quick disclaimer, everyone. Please keep in mind, Ibn Getz, we are not financial advisors, people. We are simply two guys that love investing and we love to talk about it. At the end of the day, it's important to trade at your own risk. It's important to do what's best for your portfolio and always use discretion when trading in the markets. Welcome, world. Welcome to another edition of the Stocks is Talking podcast with Ibn Getz, episode 10, people. Getz, what's going on? I'm your co-host, Ib. How you feeling?
I'm good. How you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm hungover from all that cookout food, the drinks. I'm trying to get it back, you know? It's been a long weekend, but it was well-deserved. How was yours?
Yeah, I've been chilling, you know?
Yeah? Hey, man, I'm not mad at that. As I'm out here over the weekend, hitting a few cookouts and doing the Memorial Weekend thing, gathering with family and friends, and I'm smelling the cookouts and the burgers and the ketchup, the mustard, like all of these things that go into it with the cookout, I'm thinking I should be invested in Memorial Weekend somehow. Like, what did I miss for the weeks leading up to this moment with all this good food? What stocks should I have been jumping in for, like some call options, just knowing that they're gonna bubble right when this weekend comes? Because especially now, because people are outside again. Right. Outside is not officially back open, but it's unofficially back open. People out there.
Yeah, I mean, so for some places it is back open. You know.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's definitely. I mean, you gotta have an open mind. I mean. And I'm sure there's plenty of ways to trade it, whether you just think about, the people traveling, as far as the airlines go, or they driving, as far as, you got the oil companies, I mean, or even it's Memorial Weekend, people are doing all this grocery shopping for the cookouts and everything else. I mean, the weather sucks here. We can't really do nothing around here, but I mean, you're looking at the Costco's and the BJ's and, stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of ways to trade it if you actually dig into it,
Yeah, and that's something I want to do. But like, what's the next one? Because we missed Memorial Weekend in terms of potentially investing in it. I think the next one's July 4th.
Yeah, 4th of July. Yeah.
Okay, right here, right now, Getz. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about that. What does July 4th look like? As far as what could be popping, like I know you have fireworks. Same thing with Memorial Weekend. You have cookouts, you have fireworks, you have outdoor events.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would think that it'd be pretty much the same place, Right. I mean, everybody's gonna be chilling. They're gonna be drinking. They're gonna be having a good time eating.
They're gonna be drinking. What's the alcohol? I'm about to make a July 4th watch this.
Yeah, I mean, and so I mean, you talk about stuff like that, so you could be looking at like Colson Moore's Tap or Anheuser-Busch or LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy.
I'm literally making a watch list.
Yeah.
So Tap. What was the other one?
Anheuser-Busch. I forget what this is. Is it ABV or something? I forget.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's BUD. Anheuser-Busch.
Okay. BUD. All right.
Yeah. What was the Moet one?
LVMH.
LVMH.
Which I had from they've been doing their thing.
Okay.
I mean, and maybe the gas companies, like I said, for the travel. Maybe you got XOM, ExxonMobil, or Chesapeake, or any of those any of those companies, for the travel, or maybe it's gonna be the airlines. I don't know, but I definitely I see where your head's at. It's definitely something to think about.
I wonder if even the Ubers and the Lyfts, are they more popping around these times? Around the Memorial Weekend, around the July 4th. I'm gonna put Uber and Lyft on my July 4th.
Yeah, definitely something to think about. The rental companies too.
Budget.
I think that a lot of them are owned by other companies. So I think Avis might own Budget.
Okay. Yeah, they do.
So, and then you got Hertz, which I don't know what's up. I mean, they're still running. I know they went through the bankruptcy. I think they're still dealing with that, but I think they're still running. So, I mean, days like this, it definitely might be good for any of those things,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, like, we didn't have no plans this weekend. We've been lamping, I just enjoying my time with the kids. So that's what's up. But like I said, the weather's been horrible. So
the weather in the Northeast was bad. Like, we went to Maryland for the weekend, so actually it was a little rainy and cool out there until today. Today was the nicest day. Of course, that's the day when we're traveling back home.
Right.
But I think the weather all around was kind of shitty, but still people found time to at least gather.
Right.
They were still gathering, doing the food, doing the drinks, even if it's indoor.
Right. Yeah, I mean, in here, it's like, I mean, today was definitely the best day, but it was just like, all right, the weather's trash this weekend, so we just chilling.
Right.
Ain't really been out the house much. Went out for like 2 seconds. Planted some vegetables with the little ones.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But that's about it. But I definitely see what you're saying. So 4th of July weekend. I mean, you got to think of, like, what's it normally like on the 4th? What are people doing? So if you so if you go through all that, what's everybody doing? And then where's the play? Like you said, where's the play? And then you do like the detectives, have the chart with the piece of string going from one to another, you know what I mean? And to put the pieces together, and see where you land.
Yeah, and when it's time to push the button on the play, you'll kind of be good in terms of having done all your research in advance. So hey, now I'm a week out before July 4th. Boom.
Right.
Yeah. And even like, what day does July 4th land on this year? Is it on a Friday? Is it a Saturday? Like, are we gonna run up that week, or is July 4th on like a Monday?
Yeah.
If it's on a Monday, that kind of throws you off. Like, you want to try to get in on a play the week prior. Let me see. There's so many different ways to look at it.
Right.
But I definitely want to see if I can capitalize. So I'm gonna do some research this week, and I'm gonna check out all these companies we mentioned and see how they.
By the way,
it's on a what?
Sunday.
It's on a Sunday. So I would think that all the plays, the run up was gonna be the week before Sunday.
You would think.
Yeah. In terms of those, like, if I'm looking at a beverage company and people getting a bunch of alcohol, they're gonna stock up that week prior to July 4th. So maybe having a weekly option for that week.
Yeah, that's not like you. That's a casino play.
It is a casino play, but and this is why, before I make that play, I'm gonna go back and do some digging. How did a lot of these companies do the week leading up to Memorial Day weekend?
Right.
Like, what happened? Was there any spike up on like the Anheuser-Busch or the Tab or the Moet company? What about Uber and Lyft? How are they doing that week up to it?
Right. Back testing.
Yeah, I'm gonna back test it.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna see if I can find some similarities. Like, all right, these specific ones took off, and then they pulled back once Memorial Weekend was done. Yeah. All right, let's see if that shapes up for July 4th.
Right.
This is a new strategy, Gets. This is something new that I'm just kind of spitballing it on the pod. I'm just really just.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it at all. It's you got to, and that's just part of the game. there's always some kind of catalyst for somebody.
Exactly.
So you just gotta you gotta have that open mind and be looking for it, or just being able to see it. Just the fact that you even brought it up, it's just you get to that level and investing, where you to even think about that, your mind's just in a different place, I mean, when you walk into a store, most people don't, they walk into a store with a purpose. I'm just here for this or here for that, but you're on another level when you walk into the store and you're like, damn, like this store is popping every time I come in here, this and a third. I wonder what their numbers are looking like. I wonder if this might be an investment,
Right.
Or you go to pick up an item and you're like, yo, this item's always sold out. Yo, is that company publicly traded? So these are all things to keep in mind, be mindful of, and everybody's they'll get there if they're really about it, if this is what they want to be doing, and they go for it, you get to that point where that's just part of your daily routine. I go through it with my kids, we'll be talking about something, and they talking about PS5s or this or that, and I'm just like, all right, so what's up with the company? Well, we invest in them, what we doing?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Like, yeah, man, this weekend I did a lot of Xbox playing with like the brothers and the nephews, playing Fight Night and Madden and 2K, but we're all on the Xbox system. So actually, as we're playing, I was thinking like, yo, what are Microsoft's numbers looking like right now? Because we've been on this Xbox.
Microsoft been lovely. Yeah. I mean, and it's the same thing. Like, I mean, we went and we were looking for the Xbox and the PS5, like as soon as they came out, and I'm like, yo, sold out everywhere, constantly, just sold out. And I mean, we had to put a strategy together just to cop them, So it's like we get them, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, damn, like Sony. Like I know Sony's huge and they do a bunch of other things, but this is a catalyst, and this is a catalyst that only comes around every few years. So I'm like, damn, what's this gonna do for Sony? And it definitely, I mean, the numbers have been crazy. Like I invested in Microsoft, not in Sony, just because Sony just didn't appeal to me so much, When I look at the company and I'm like, all right, this is the catalyst, but I'm like, all right, what else are they doing? And I'm looking at everything and I'm like, it just ain't sexy to me, So to somebody else, it might be a perfect play.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, all right, I'll rock with Microsoft, because they have the catalyst, but Microsoft's doing so many other things, I mean, so I'm just like, yeah, I'll rock with Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft they have the gaming systems. They're also in the cybersecurity space and offering different packages for corporations to protect their assets from cyber hackers. And I mean, I know all that from my business gets. I'm out here doing the communications thing. So one of my biggest clients, we do business with Microsoft, and a lot of their software catered to their cybersecurity. So it's like, yo, Microsoft is getting it in so many avenues.
Yeah.
It's not just Xbox.
Yeah. And you see what they're doing with the cloud computing, they did getting all these government contracts now. I mean, just the fact that, think about Windows. Think about how huge Windows is. The fact that it's a market within itself, right? I mean, pretty much almost every laptop, every computer that ships has Windows on it. And Windows isn't open source. It's not like you could just be like, all right, I'm going to download this, this thing and, have free Windows. It's not Linux. It's not, Android. It's, it's owned.
Yep.
It's owned by Microsoft, and it's been on everything forever. And Microsoft has gone through antitrust lawsuits and everything over the stuff they do, but they're still on everything. You're either on, basically you're either going with Apple and their proprietary software, or you're going with Microsoft, and it's the same battle that they have with the phones as far as Apple and Android, right? Apple could be number one. They're on all these devices, but then if you actually look at the numbers, Android is on so many more devices because it's open source and it's on everything. It's like Apple's on Apple devices, Android is on every other device, right? And when it comes to the phone for mobile and tablets and stuff like that. But then when you get into that space of computing, it's Apple versus Windows, and and then Android has a little sliver, right, for like the Chromebooks and stuff, which that was crazy at the beginning of pandemic. Like I went to go buy some Chromebooks and those were hard to get,
I had everyone was home.
Yeah, everybody was home, so I'm like, all right, I just wanted to cop a couple for the kids, and I had to put in work to get them. It was the same thing as the PS5s. I'm like, yo, I just want to cop a couple, Chromebooks so they can do some schoolwork, and that was, it was crazy, Couldn't even walk in the store and buy it. It's something that you just take for granted,
right?
When that time comes when you're like, wow, I've been taking this for granted and it's not so easy anymore, then you got to be, then that investor mindset's got to kick in, like, yo, there's something here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to spend some money, but how can I could capitalize on this?
How can I maximize on this money I'm about to drop?
Right. Let me get it back real quick.
Yep. Let me get it back and then some.
And then some.
A little percentage off from that.
Right.
So yeah, man.
Yeah. No, I'm spending this money, but I'm gonna get it. I want to get it back with interest.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I actually mentioned something in a Discord one day about I was talking about interest rates and tax time and how we our tax refunds, how we like everybody's waits for these tax refunds, right? But don't think about the fact that was your money in the first place. If you get a refund, that means that you gave the government an interest-free loan, right? It was actually a negative interest rate because they're not giving it all back to you, and they're not giving you back no extra on top, right? They just want to give you a piece of yours back, right? So I was like, I wish somebody would pay me to loan me money.
Yeah, to loan me my money back.
Yeah. So, and it's like you got to try and treat it the same way. When I go out and spend money, it's like, all right, what investment can I make that's gonna pay me back with interest? So I could try and kind of treat it like the money I put out was at was a loan with a negative interest rate, so I get back more,
Yeah. And that all comes from pretty much what you were saying. Once you've graduated to a certain level of thinking and investing, every time you go into a grocery store to buy an item, there is a flip. There's a reciprocation there. It's like, yo, how can I now go and buy into this item that I keep purchasing every week?
Right.
Because there's probably millions of other people doing the same thing. Who owns this company? Are they traded right now? At that point, it's almost like you're Neo in the Matrix. Remember when he finally decoded that shit and he just saw at everything like the green lines, like he was looking at the Matrix. Like you can't even shoot him anymore because he just sees things so clearly. We gotta do the same as an investor. Right. Every single piece of walk of life is a potential investment. Right. I'm even, as we're talking and chopping it up and thinking about how can we leverage July 4th? What are these next big things coming out? Two things popped into my head, Gets. One, you mentioned to me how your kids were home, so you're looking for Chromebooks. Well, this year, a lot of students are going back to school.
Right.
What does that say to me? Back to school supplies are a thing now. Okay, who are the companies that are manufacturing all these pencils and these notebooks? Is it pencils and notebooks anymore, or is it Chromebooks? Because we're in this technology age. Is it going to be a massive influx in Chromebooks and laptops? Like where's that segment, that population of products I need to be looking for to purchase into now in terms of the stock? Because in a couple months, all these stores are going to be flooded. The Walmart's going to be flooded. Everyone's going to be coming in there for school supplies. So let me think about looking at Walmart and possibly getting an option on them.
I'm staring at the chart right now.
Okay.
Because that was
looking like
in my head, because I'm like, I mean, they're in consolidation right now, but it's one of those things where it's like that's gonna be that's the spot. That's the first thing when you talk about that. That's the spot, because you're gonna walk in there, you're gonna get the pencils, the notebooks. You can get a Chromebook there. You can buy the kids' clothes there. And you know what? You just might happen to walk by and see a TV on sale. You might cop that on the way out. You know what I mean?
Word. And the fact that you said they're in a consolidation mode right now, I see flashing lights going off in my head right now. Like, hey, this might be a perfect opportunity. Right, it's consolidating. Right. Back to school is coming back in August. Yeah. We're in May. So we got a couple months, but this is that smart money investing in research and then doing the legwork before it even comes time to make the play. Having the play ready. Right. During the season, NFL, they're scouting these teams all week and they're practicing for that squad. They don't just get on the field and start running plays. They've been running plays. They know exactly what they want to do on what down they want to do it, because they know what the personnel looks like. Same thing in stocks. All right, cool. I see back to school's coming up. How can I start strategizing and putting a playbook together to then go and make plays on these certain stocks and options? Right. That's kind of where I'm at with it today, cuz.
Real talk.
I'm really trying to do a lot of forward thinking. What are those pull forward effects? And how can I be a part of them? You know?
Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by Nice Touch Editing Services. Nice Touch Editing is your one-stop shop solution for all of your content writing and editing needs. Whether you're an author looking for an editor for your book manuscript, you need a resume and cover letter to go after that new job opportunity, or if you're a small business looking to go after that latest government contract, Nice Touch Editing is the premier writing and editing solution. Feel free to reach out, www.nicetouchediting.com. Nice Touch Editing Services. Now that's a nice touch.
I'm looking at companies like Heinz, because they own the ketchup, right? Not that they own ketchup, but they're a very popular brand for ketchup, Heinz. Yeah. But I feel like they also have mustard too, and relish.
Yeah, they're all the condiments, a bunch of other items too. It's actually Kraft Heinz. It's owned by Berkshire Hathaway.
Really?
Yeah, half of it's Berkshire Hathaway, and the other half is owned by 3G Capital. So yeah, they're a big one. I mean, they've been hurting a little bit, but they're definitely one to think about, want to look at,
And as I'm looking, because I just pulled it up on my Yahoo Finance, and again, when y'all hear having conversations like this with people, just jump on Yahoo Finance to find a stock symbol and see what they're publicly traded as. As we're talking, that's why I created my watch list. That's why I'm looking at Kraft Heinz as we speak. They closed on Friday at, what was it, 43.59? Mm-hmm. Is where they closed at. Their 52-week high is 44.95. So they're $1 off from their 52-week high. And I just wonder if that's an effect of Memorial Weekend was coming up. People are doing cookouts. People are getting ready. People need mustard, ketchup, and all that stuff for the hot dogs and the burgers. Right. Now, it just so happens that the company we're talking about is near its 52-week high. That means for the year, it's pretty much as high as it's been.
Right.
I gotta really go digging into it, but as we're talking through it, it's like, man, these things are evident. It's just, you just gotta look at the signs for it. Right. I gotta assume that there's somewhat of a catalyst between we're pretty much hitting cookout season and summertime, and a company like Kraft Heinz is at its all-time high for the year.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, and I'm sitting here looking at it too, and they had this nice move up, over the last few weeks, and it looks like they're consolidating a little bit now, and sitting on the, I think it's the 20 they're sitting on. So this is a time, where it's like you have that consolidation, like you said, the 4th of July is coming up. Maybe this is the time to be looking at them. Especially if they pull down a little bit, for that big move out of consolidation.
Yep.
That's why I pulled it up and I actually put the my Bollinger Bands on so I could see the consolidation and the moves and everything, and and see how what's the volume and is looking like and everything.
Volume. Okay. How's the volume looking?
It's pretty steady right now. It's actually nothing crazy. Might even be a little low. It looks like it looks like it might be coming back a little bit, but but we were just in a week where volume was super low. There was no volume, no volatility, which definitely made it harder for day trading, because you look for those big moves. But like you said, this might be the time. You jump into something like that, and you eat off it. No pun intended, around the 4th of July,
I like how you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, but that's real talk. That's how, and the common theme for the podcast is that smart money investing. And I feel like in every episode, we're pretty much dropping nuggets and crumb trails along the way of getting to that smart money investment mindset. It's the little things every day that you put into it. Understanding what kind of trader you are. Having your tools and strategies in place.
Yeah.
Setting rules for getting into a trade, getting out of a trade.
Yeah.
Looking at
engagement.
Yeah, your rules of engagement. I could literally just rename all of the pod episodes, and they're pretty much smart money investing tools.
Right.
And what we're talking about now, I think, is another key, is capitalizing on, and we've talked about capitalizing on the current environment or the current market, but now it's capitalizing on what's going on in the world and the country this week, next week. How can I, like when Black Friday comes around every November, day after Thanksgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now again, last year and the last couple of years, it's been COVID. So you're not having these crazy people sitting outside the store, all that. I don't even know if they're going to be doing it like that this year, but I know it's going to be the first time in at least 2 years stores will actually be open for a lot of folks to come in and do some Black Friday shopping.
Yeah. And the thing to think about after last year, a lot of companies learned how to capitalize on e-commerce, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So even if the people ain't in the stores, these companies have learned, it's like Amazon already figured it out, right? They have Amazon Day, then they have the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday, right? And then following behind them, you had Walmart, you had Best Buy, companies like that. They started figuring it out, right? So now the thing is, it's like, all right, now all these companies have had a year to figure it out. And you're going to have the winners and the losers. And now's the time you're going to see, there's going to be, the companies who just can't execute on it. And there's the companies that will. It's the same thing if you look at China, if you look at what is it, Alibaba, right? They have Singles Day over there, right? Which is that's kind of like their Black Friday. Singles Day is huge, and Alibaba is like the Amazon in China, right?
Yeah.
So, but if Singles Day is coming up, and if you've gone and looked at their numbers, what they do for a Singles Day, it's every year. It's just bigger and bigger and bigger. And the same thing over here with Amazon Day, is bigger and bigger and bigger. The fact that Amazon Day is basically, like as big or bigger than like Black Friday, that's saying something. So it's like, it's it's coming.
Right.
There's a catalyst. It's just, all right, let me find out when is that day gonna be, and how do I want to set up that play?
Yeah, and what position do I want to jump in on that?
Right.
And I think something like that, again, just kind of spitballing ideas, when we talk about doing options gets, one of the things I'm always looking for, and I think in the last episode, I said I'm really looking for 20,000 on open interest and volume.
Right.
So, for instance, you're using Alibaba for example, and that what was it called? The 1-to-1 day. What is it?
Singles day.
Singles day. So
Yeah.
if you're looking in advance for when Singles Day is, I'm gonna go into my bar chart and kind of look at the different options, potentials, and it'll just be funny if Singles Day coincides with heavy volume and heavy open interest for that particular week on a certain strike price.
Right.
Because then that's kind of further validation. And I know I'm getting real advanced and technical with the lingo. Again, the options course or class is coming, but we're gonna chop it up on that. But yeah, Guts, using Singles Day and then going and using the volume and open interest strategy, if those things line up, it'll probably further solidify your plan of Singles Day might be a day to go after.
Right.
I wanna really, leverage that day.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of like, just like in football, if somebody knows the defensive end on the left side has the ankle injury, which side of the ball are they going to run? To the left or to the right? They're going to run to the left.
Right.
His ankle's hurt. So if
Right.
you know something's coming up, yeah, I want to go in that direction and
Right.
leverage that piece.
Yeah.
So, and yo, you just said something crazy. And one thing I've noticed, Gets, we're growing and gaining in popularity. And it's rubbing off on our loved ones, Gets. So my girl was at a family function over the weekend, and people tend to come up to her now, and now I hear her having conversations about stocks. It's so funny because people are listening to the pod, and then they ask her questions. So somebody gave her a little tip. Are you familiar with Mercado Libre?
I've heard of it.
So and it's so funny, Gets, that you mentioned Alibaba is China's version of Amazon. Well, Mercado Libre is Latin America's version of Amazon. And I had never heard of them until my girl just reminded me, like, hey, did you bring up Mercado Libre? Did you look into it? I said, no, I didn't. I think I'm going to bring it up on a podcast. See if Lex knows about it. But yeah, I'm looking at them now. Their stock symbol is MELI. MELI.
Yep, I'm looking at it.
You looking at them?
Yep.
And one thing that I noticed, they're trading for $1,358. So they're definitely competitors with Amazon, but I've never heard of them. But then it makes
and they're
me
well off the highs too.
They're well off the highs. Yep. So this is something I wonder, because it looks like they're the type of company that has those big, and again, I have a watch list specifically for fast movers, because these are good primes for options plays. MELI jumped from 1357 to 1382 on one day, last Friday. So when I see that now gets boosted into my little watch list of the fast movers. If I'm looking for an option play, let me see what those fast movers are doing for the day. Is one of them down or up? Because if one of them's down, there's a good chance you want to get in on a call, because it might shoot up the next day that there's a green day. Those are the kind of things I try to leverage at least.
Right.
But I thought Mercado Libre was something good to bring up, because I just never heard of it. And I was wondering if you did. I don't know how
I've heard that name before, but I didn't know. I don't know anything about the company. And now you're talking about it, it's definitely gonna be something I'll look into, because that's interesting. Anytime you talk about these companies where you have this huge company, right, with a moat around them, basically, right, where it's like, when I say moat, you have a company. You think of a castle, right, and it has the moat around it, right, the water around it. And that's it's not for looks, it's for protection, right? So, and this is a big thing with Warren Buffett. He always talks about having a moat, right? Okay. So you have protection around you. You have a way that, it's not easy for competitors to come in and do what you do, right? So you have a company like Amazon, where they're like, all right, they started off as a bookseller, and now they sell everything. And now it's not even that they just sell everything. They're a platform for other sellers to sell everything, right? And they're like, yo, we'll store your items, ship your items, we'll do all these things. When you need groceries, we just happen to buy a grocery store. Don't worry about it. We got you, right? Now, now they bought MGM. right? So now it's like, all right, now we already had Amazon. They had Amazon Video, right? But now they have the studio, right? They instead of just having their own studio where they're figuring it out, now they bought the studio that already owns so much, so much material. It's like now we own that material. We can license that material to other people, or we can keep it for ourselves, including James Bond. That whole franchise, right? So, which I don't think it's 100% ownership, but they are part owner of it now, right? With the MGM deal. So you have that moat. You're building the moat, right? You keep making it deeper. You keep making it wider. So and I see they're Amazon's all over the world.
Yeah.
But there's still, obviously in other countries, there's still an opportunity for these other companies to come in because Amazon's not as big, right? So the fact that like you have Alibaba in China, which China is, notorious for, China helps their companies have that moat because they don't let companies from other countries just come in and do whatever they want.
Absolutely
right?
not. Yep.
And for you to say now, like this Mercado Libre, if they're the Amazon of, what did you say, of
Latin America,
not just like Brazil or one of you said of Latin America, right?
Yes.
So it's like, all right, all right, if they're that big, then what's the moat? So that's definitely something that I want to look into and see what have they built, that's gonna protect them from competitors like Amazon from coming in and just eating them. You know what I mean? Is it the government, or is it something that they're actually doing? You know what I mean?
And how long can they hold off Amazon from just mimicking what they do and eating them alive?
Right. Or does Amazon come in and buy them? Because Amazon's been in other countries buying up stuff. I forget what countries it is, but Amazon was, I think it's some Asian country. Definitely wasn't China, but I think there was some Asian countries where Amazon and Walmart, they were like fighting over companies. Other companies that were like them, that were just smaller, that had a foothold in the country. And the same thing, like Uber actually went through this, right? Uber was growing fast, just losing money, right? Uber is constantly like, oh, we lost $1 billion, we lost whatever, because they were constantly growing, right? But then they went into some of these Asian countries, and they're losing they're burning through cash, just trying to stay afloat and trying to just be the winner. And it got to a point where they bowed down and they said, all right, we're out, but they did the smart thing. It was like, all right, we're going to leave and we'll basically sell our business in this country to you for a stake in your company, and they did that with Grab and a couple other ones. And I think Grab is actually about to go public if they didn't already do it.
Okay. And what does Grab do?
Grab is another ride hailing service.
Okay.
But it's in Asia, right?
Ah.
So Uber was like, all right, we'll sell our business here to you, but give us, whatever it is, 10%, 20% of your shares. Yeah.
That's smart.
It's smart because it's like, now we have no cost anymore here. We have no overhead here, right? We're gonna leave, right? We don't have to pay employees. There's no benefits. We don't have to do any of that. But you still got to cut us. We still get a cut. You know what I mean? So it was so smart, the way they did that, but you see it with these big incumbents here, when they go with other countries, how are they going to handle it? You know what I mean? Like when Google tried to go overseas, to like China, and they just got kicked out, it just didn't work. Right. So you have Baidu, which is like the Chinese Google.
Yeah.
That there was no benefit to Google. they just left. It was like, all right, we just got to take the L, and they left. Right. But then you look at companies like Uber, Amazon, the way they move, it's like, all right, we're gonna leave, but we're gonna take a little something with us.
Right.
It's so smart the way that they handle their business. So I definitely, I don't know, I'm going around the world to get back to to where we started. But Mercado Libre, I'm definitely going to be looking into it. That's just interesting to when someone says this is the the Amazon of this, or the Uber of this, or the Netflix of this.
That's someone you should pay attention to.
You need to pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's definitely it's just like when you mention certain things, if you mention Scotch tape or Pyrex or this, you saying it as an item, but that's actually the company that what I mean. But they've surpassed that.
Yep, exactly. They just become embedded in your brain as when I think of Scotch tape, I just think of tape. I don't think about the fact that that's just a brand of tape. Right.
Yeah. But it's like, if you think about it, it's like, all right, well, that's 3M. 3M Scotch tape. You know what I'm saying? It's so you have these companies that are embedded in what they do.
3M, I think I'm going to put 3M in, and I'm actually going to make different watch lists based off of what we're talking about. It's just giving me ideas. I think I want to come up with a watch list for back to school season. Right. And one of them is going to be 3M. Because to your point, they have the tape. People are going to be buying, these classrooms, these teachers, they need tape. In class.
3M is so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if I still am, but I was invested in 3M.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the beginning of the pandemic, you like 3M makes the masks, 3M makes the gloves, 3M makes like Tyvek suits, and like they do so much. They make tape. They're in everything. So 3M, it's like 3M's a play. all the time. I was always I was actually surprised during the whole thing with the pandemic. I remember looking at over their charts, and I was like, I don't understand why they're not moving more. It's like you have supply constraints, you have demand that's just through the roof. Like there's no way you can keep up with it. I was actually surprised that they weren't moving more, but it's like I'm looking at the chart now, and it's like steady uptrend, flattening out a little bit, but it's like nothing that I would worry about. And they pay a dividend,
And they pay a dividend.
So, I mean, 3M can be a play on so many levels, and there's a bunch of companies like that out there. You just gotta do your due diligence. Yeah, do your due diligence, and you find them, follow them, back test, all of that.
And the thing is, once you find that company, after you've done your fact finding, your due diligence, your research, you study, then put that actionable plan into place. When I say actionable, I mean, okay, I'm going to buy this because I want to get out in a week or two when this happens. Or I'm going to buy this and sit and hold for the next year because I think there's going to be a certain level of growth over the next year or two or three.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But exactly. And once you make that play based off of that rationale, you have to stick with that rationale and see it through to the end.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna lie, Gets. I'm seeing, and again, AMC had one of those weeks where it ran up. I think it's up to 25 or 26 or 27 bucks.
Yeah, down from the highs, but it's still way up there. And shout out, to people in the Discord that when I actually brought it up the other day, and I don't know. I think you actually came in and you commented too, but I actually I said congrats to anybody who's eating off AMC GameStop, and a screenshot got sent of somebody who put in like $79 and came up like over a rack.
Yeah.
So, and that was a big deal, and and it was crazy. I actually was talking to someone about it because they thanked me for getting them into the options trading and stuff like that.
Yeah, right in the Discord. because he was eating off options.
Yeah, and that was lovely to see, you know. Yep. But yeah, it's like this is that that thing that you've been waiting for, you know.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, if you have that conviction in any way, you know, like you got to go for it. You know, my wife actually, she got on me because she was like, you seen the price of AMC? You know, she's like, you gave me such a good analysis of AMC and you know why you weren't rocking with it. And I didn't buy it. And, you know, so I missed out on this. I'm like, well, I am not a financial advisor. Your diligence, and you know,
trade at your own risk.
I didn't trade at your own risk.
Do what's best for your portfolio.
Yeah, you know. So I'm like, you know, it is what it is. You know, like I missed this one too. You know, because it's not like there wasn't a play there. You know, but I'm not one for the hype. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I didn't do the GameStop AMC thing. And maybe that I'm too entrenched in the game at this point, where it's like I just kind of just stayed off on the sideline. But a lot of the people who you see who were just killing it, a lot of them are new investors.
They got in on the wave, on the hype.
Yeah,
it's paying off for them,
and it's paying off for them. And congrats to them. You know, it's just for me to just go with that.
And to that point, which is so funny, and it's why I even brought up AMC, because I was in on AMC last year or 2 years ago, again, when the pandemic first hit. I bought the airline stocks, the cruise line stocks, and I bought AMC. Right. And I bought AMC because Gary Vee, I don't know if you're familiar with him, he mentioned, he was like, hey, theaters aren't really going to go anywhere. They're just going to have to figure out a new way to innovate their experience. But he's like, people are always going to want to go to the theaters and just be around folks once we can do that again. So I was like, you know what? Let me buy some AMC. And then the whole Reddit wave happened where AMC and GameStop started taking off. Guess I got out at maybe $11. I only had 20 shares, but I got out at 11 because I was like, yo, I wasn't in it for any of this. I had no idea that this Reddit revolution would come and put AMC on his back. That's not what I got in it for. I got in like, hey, maybe this thing will jump up at some point and I'll make a little bread. When I saw this whole whoosh of Reddit just taking that thing up, and then I got out because it shot up, remember, to like 50, 60, 70, something crazy. Then it consolidated all the way back to damn near $6 again. So I got out when it consolidated and it came to $11. I was like, you know what? Let me just take it, because I wasn't even in it for all this wild shit that's going on. Right. So I left it, and then I hear the news this week. Who's still in on AMC? It's going to the moon. I'm like, all right, what's it at? I see 25, 26, and I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. But I was never in it. I was in it, and I guess I should have checked my own rules of engagement, because I said I wanted to be in it for when theaters really opened back up and the world was opening back up. Let's see where it goes. I think the whole rush of Reddit, it weirded me out, because again, I'm so used to really investing and looking at strategy. I'm not used to, we all want to get on this stock and make it go up. That's a new thing. And I was like, all right, let me get out, because I don't know where that's going to go. But again, other people are still eating good off of it. So I applaud you.
Yeah. I mean, and it's crazy. It gave me something else to think about, because, you know, the main thing that pushes these things is short squeezes, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you had the short squeeze earlier this year with GameStop. That was like the main winner, right? It went. I mean, GameStop. I think the high was almost 500 or something like that. Yeah. The high was close to 500. It was like 480, a little over 480. So, that was crazy, you know. So, and that's what's up for the people. I mean, and it made millionaires.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at that and I'm like, all right, well, I never really thought about the short squeeze. That was never really part of my thing. That it's kind of a small cap mindset. right? It's kind of like, you know, the guys who day trade the small caps, you know, that it makes sense trading it those. And if you think about it, AMC and GameStop, they were small caps, and they have these short squeezes, and it seems like the hedge fund and stuff like that, it's like they didn't learn their lesson, and they went back into GameStop and started shorting it, and people are paying attention to that now,
right?
You know, so you had the shorts and heavy, and it was, you know, maybe they thought the hype died down, and, you know, they went a little too heavy, and it got squeezed.
Now, when you say the short squeezes, and again, one thing about me, Gats, I'm open and honest, but I don't necessarily get something, I'm gonna let you know, whoever it is in whatever industry it is. So even with us, as you keep talking about short squeezing, I'm familiar with people shorting stocks, but when you say that short squeeze, walk me through what that actually looks like and what that means for an investor to hear, oh, they short squeezed AMC.
Yeah, so you had the buying volume was so heavy, they pushed the stock up so much that the shorts are getting margin called, and they've got to buy the stock back because remember, they're borrowing the shares, right, to sell it to somebody else. You sell to open, right? Yep. So you borrow your shares from somebody else, and you sell them to somebody, and you collect your premium, and then you know the hope is that the stock will keep dropping. So when you go to buy it back to close your position, you're buying it back at a low price, you know, and you make that spread, right? So the thing is, if the stock shoots up so much, then the brokers are you're gonna get margin called. The brokers are gonna hit you up and be like, yo, you know, either you got money for us or we're gonna sell your positions. You have to buy the stock. So all these people with, you know, short positions, as the stock goes up, they got to start buying. They got to start buying the stock. Right. And if you already have buying pressure, and now the short sellers are forced to buy, they're adding more buying pressure, which is going to keep pushing the stock higher, right? Okay. So that's what we're seeing now, and it's funny because I'm looking at the charts, and this is hindsight. Hindsight is 2020, and hindsight's a bitch, right? So I'm looking at this chart, and I actually see the bull flag. Yeah, and it's hilarious to me to see it, especially with the Bollinger Bands on it. Because
so you see the bull flag now, meaning that it's potential for it to continue going up.
Or no, I'm saying we already missed it.
Okay,
right? You had the bull flag, and then at the end of the bull flag, right before it went back down to, I think it's 20-day, then that's when it started moving up, and you kind of had like a three white soldiers pattern where you had it marching higher, right, every day. Right. But, and then this last, you know, not the last day, but the day before, it actually boomed. It went real high. And then now you've got this red day on Friday. But which is still crazy high. I expect it to come down some more, but the setup is still there for it to continue on an uptrend now. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's crazy to me. It's like it could just crash, but it could come down a little more, you know, and touch this this top of this band. I have to see where this is, but it might be like the 5, but it may come down and touch that and then continue up. You know, if it depending on how the short squeeze goes. If all the shorts cover their positions and they're like, yo, we're good, we don't want no smoke, we're out, you know,
then it's gonna pull back.
Then you could just have the pullback. People could start selling off their positions and stuff, and you know. But if they're like, yo, we're doubling down, if they got enough money, they can pull this down heavy, right? If the retail investors are all like, all right, well, we got to re-up, right? Like, you know, we got to wait until the next payday or something.
Right.
And they can't buy in heavy like they did. But the short sellers are like, yo, we're doubling down. They could bring this bitch back down, you know, to the beginning of this thing around $12. Right. You know, which is crazy because that was the one thing I said. I think, you know, even though she blames me, I think I did mention AMC is a buy under like $12 or $10. You know, that was my thing. Like I even at a glance, I see it. I never gave AMC a lot of my time, but I did mention, I did see it. And it was like, all right, like under that level, yeah, AMC is a buy. But I wasn't putting my money in because especially now, I brought this up before, I have margin to worry about.
Yep.
So I can't be dumping a bunch of money into something that is a social media thing. It's a meme, play. When I'm day trading. Like I can't dump money in here and then get margin called when I'm in the middle of, a bunch of other plays.
That's
because it doesn't work out. That's just my thing. The same thing with, like I said, like my crypto. Certain places I can't do crypto right now. It's just because I can't worry about, I can't have that be my worry. Getting margin called over something stupid.
That's true. That's a great point, Gets. And I kind of want to harbor on one thing you just brought up, crypto and Doge and all those plays. One thing I thought about as I over the weekend, kind of chopping up with the family, hanging out, you get asked certain questions, and one thing really stuck in my head, Gets, that I don't think we've mentioned, but I want to bring it up. You've got to be very careful and choosy with what platforms you're using to buy these cryptos, or even with your straight trading options and stocks. You've got to make sure that your platform is secure. Like, I do a lot of cybersecurity with my bigger contract that I work with the company, and I'm always coming up with new best practices for the employees, for the business partners, for the execs. How can you protect this company's data and assets? You've got to look at your money that you're investing in these cryptos and into these stocks. That's your data, that's your assets. If you think about it, our bank accounts and our credit cards or debit cards are linked to these different accounts, these different trading platforms. So you definitely, before you join any crypto platform, especially crypto, because it's such a nuanced space, you got to do research on top of research to see what kind of red flags these platforms have. Have people been getting hacked? Have people been having an issue with pulling their money out? How long does that process look like? What kind of parameters are they putting you through? One thing that I've noticed, when you have a company that's kind of putting you through the ringer in terms of being able to sign up, because you got to provide a photo ID of this, and you got to provide this and that. It may seem like a hassle, but it's also ensuring you that this company is actually taking security pretty serious. They're not just allowing anybody to jump on and now exchange their money back and forth on this platform. So even though it's a hassle, that's a potential good sign for me. Like, okay, you're making me go above and beyond to make sure that it is me that's putting this money into it.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll say about that, one thing that I started doing is, before I put my money into when I'm looking into new cryptos, especially because when you have these crazy processes that you got to go through, right? I mean, just in general, you want to have you want to use reputable exchanges and have your two-factor security and all that stuff set up. That's great. Yes. Yep. But one thing I do with some of the small cap cryptos, if I'm like, all right, I want to put a little money in, and I notice a lot of these exchanges that you want to go to for the small cap cryptos, they're actually not from the US. Yep. Exactly. So one thing that I've been doing, that sometimes I actually go on CoinGecko. Okay. And CoinGecko, you type in whatever crypto you're looking for, and you can go to markets or exchanges or whatever it says, and you can actually look at it'll have a trust score, right? So if you're looking at it, it's markets. So they have a trust score. So you'll look at it and you'll be like, all right, look at places to buy it, and a trust score will actually tell you, are they trusted? Is there some kind of issue? I'm looking at them right now. They actually come up. One has like a red flag on it. It says they just had a cybersecurity attack.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you text me that? Because
I'll definitely send you the info. So it's like
what better yet, put in the Discord.
I'll put it in Discord, CoinGecko. I'll put it in there, and it's something that I do just so it's like, all right, because sometimes somebody will tell me an exchange, and I'm like, I ain't never heard of this in my life, but it's like you need to know these things because, like you said. You gotta, especially you linking it to bank accounts and this and that. Whether you got $10 or $1 million, right? It's like, I mean, if your account if you look at your account and it's at zero, I think that might be an issue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you wanna do your your due diligence ahead of time, even with that, with security. So that's one thing that I do.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, if you think about it, it's you've got to be mindful and protect your cyber data and your bank's card information, just like you will protect cash in your wallet. You wouldn't go on the train and leave your wallet sitting on the seat and just open that joint up and have all the dollar bills there ready for the taking for whoever. No, you want to put it in your wallet. You want to put that wallet in your pocket or in your bag to ensure that it's protected to the best of your ability at that moment. It's the same thing with our data with these debit cards, our bank accounts. We can't just have it open on the internet to any loosey-goosey company that's out here allowing you to trade. You never know. And I need to do more digging because there's probably some platforms that are created just to trick you into going into a malicious site that is there just to capture your data.
Yeah, and I've actually heard of people, some people coming up with they'll take a name of like you have your cold storage, right? You have your cold wallets, whatever it is. I've heard of people going into like an app store, creating an app named after one of those cold wallets, so people think that the app links to your wallet, right? So they'll name it the same thing as the wallet. So people would start downloading it, linking it to their wallets, and then the developer is just cleaning out your wallet. And then when they go back and look at their wallet and see they have nothing, and then they'll contact the company like, yo, I use your app and now my wallet's empty, and the company would be like, we don't have an app. Like that's we're cold storage. That's the whole point. Like we don't do apps, we don't do none of that. And people get cleaned out.
It happens all the time.
There's a million and one ways that people are trying to take the money out your wallet.
Absolutely.
So you just got to stay ahead of it.
You got to stay ahead of it, and as we keep moving and the investment strategies and the platforms evolve, please understand that these cyber hackers are evolving right with us and finding the same nuanced ways we're using to now trade crypto. They're using nuanced ways to now get you to transfer that crypto wallet over to them in their hands. So we got to be diligent in that and always keep cybersecurity at the forefront, along with the strategies and investment tools in place. Got to be smart about the money, because if you get your whole wallet cleaned out, then what are you trading with? Right. So those two things got to go hand in hand.
And the banks don't give a fuck about you. So
I think we've established that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hacked multiple times. I've gone and looked at my bank account and been like, yo, why? I go swipe my card and I'm getting declined, and then I look at my account, the account's low, and I got a bunch of like Facebook transactions. I'm like, I remember the first time I said I didn't know there were transactions happening on Facebook. This is the and I call the bank and they're like, yeah, you didn't do these things on Facebook. I said, how? And they were, how, Sway? So and their response basically to me was, call us back after it posts. I said, so you want me to call you back after they have their money? You know what I mean? It's like I've been through it. So so we definitely gotta take care of us, because nobody else will.
Yeah, that's the big fact. That's the big fact. So I just want to drop that out there, because that's something very important, While we're again, like, we're trying to invest and find the best way to invest, gotta also find the best way to protect those
Right.
assets and those funds that we're using to invest.
Real talk, real talk. Hey, on a brighter note though, let's talk about this Nvidia, the stock split.
Nvidia stock split 4-for-1. I know this used to be your ultimate play was Nvidia.
Yo, yeah, this was Nvidia. I ate so good off Nvidia that I was just like, I'm forever grateful.
So first, no doubt, I ate a little bit off them and AMD. I don't know if you remember in a few years ago.
I love AMD. Yeah.
AMD and Nvidia. Yeah, man. So first, what is a 4-for-1 stock split? Because we threw it out there. I see they have a 4-for-1 coming up. What does that mean to the investor? Is it a time to jump in? Is it a time to pull out? Like, what's the play there? What does it mean?
Yeah. Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm thinking I might jump in because remember, like let's think about this, right? Remember, because a stock split doesn't do anything for the stock, right? Okay. The only thing that it's doing is we're gonna take the stock and every one stock is gonna turn into 4.
So if I have one share of it, after the 4-for-1 stock split, I'll now have 4 shares.
Right. So the thing about this that I really like though, Nvidia is right under, they're 649.78 right now, right? They're right under 650. The thing that I like, and I wish I had jumped on this bandwagon when Tesla went through this, right? Because they did the 5-for-1 split.
Yep, I was involved with that.
Yeah, so at the time when Tesla did it, I was like, it's funny because I said, yo, when they do this split, it's gonna bring the stock price down enough where there's a lot of retail investors who can't afford them. They're gonna jump in. I said this, but I did nothing with the information. Right? Now,
applied knowledge is power, gets.
Real talk. It's I mean, it's one of those things that you realize that it's an issue. I could teach you all day, how to fish, but sometimes I just don't go out and get it unless I'm hungry.
True.
So I'm looking at this now and I'm like, all right, they're doing a 4-for-1. I kind of wish they were doing a 5-for-1. But they're doing a 4-for-1. All right. So now this is going to bring that stock price down to a level where it's going to bring in those retail investors that look at it right now and say, this is too expensive. You know what I mean? So that's my thing right now. I want 160. If the split happened right now, you're talking 162.50 they'd be at. Right around there. That's gonna bring in, there's so many people who don't understand and just look at it's $650 a share, I'm not touching it. After the split, they're gonna be like, it's 162.50, I'm in. I'm looking at Nvidia, I'm looking at their chart right now, and over the last 5 days, they had the bull flag set up. They came down, to about 620 and then had a run up to 650 basically. Actually 651. Wow. They closed a little below it at 649.78. But the fact that I got to find out the date for this, because this is one where I might just have to just dump some money in and just hope and pray. But I like Nvidia anyway. I'm invested in Nvidia. So all this does, the company overall is a great company. They're doing everything right. They have gaming going for them. They have data centers going for them. They have crypto going for them. And it's funny because they're not even pushing crypto. They're like, crypto's actually kind of, messing with our markets right now. So they actually they have some software that tries to keep crypto from being able to use their graphics cards.
Okay.
And I think they actually have graphics cards that they offer. I think NVIDIA and AMD, they have graphics cards that they offer for miners, for crypto miners, right?
Really?
Yeah, because their thing is like, yo, stop fucking with the markets. Here, we'll give y'all some cards, for y'all to use, but y'all are making it so that everyday people can't buy our cards, And I actually went through this because it's funny. I feel like I'm getting it from all sides. I had trouble getting PS5s. I had trouble getting a new Xbox. I had trouble getting the Chromebooks. I had trouble getting a graphics card for one of my kids' computers. I wanted to build a gaming PC. I had hella trouble getting a graphics card. So their thing is
crazy.
Like, yeah,
you wouldn't even think that was a thing, a shortage of these graphics cards, until you're somebody like you that actually knows how to build the PC gaming systems. And yes, you would need something like that.
Yeah, and it's been a thing. It's been an issue, and I never cared because I wasn't dealing with it. Yeah. But then when I decided that I was gonna build one, then it was like, what do you mean I gotta order it now and I'll get it in 3 months?
Right.
And luckily it came early, but it was like it was so crazy waiting, and just the whole thought that it was like, all right, this is gonna show up when it shows up. Like my whole system's gonna be down because I'm waiting on this. Like if I'm building a regular PC, if I'm building a regular PC, I can use onboard graphics, whatever. But the whole purpose is a gaming PC, and now you're telling me I can't get one of the main components? That was like mind-boggling to me. But it's been an ongoing issue. Chips in general is an ongoing issue. It's a good issue for these companies. AMD's been getting hit over it. NVIDIA's been doing lovely though. Which I still try to understand. But because they both had the catalyst of the gaming systems. Right. The PS5 and the Xbox and stuff like that. They had those catalysts. Use
their companies for the
cars. Yeah. But AMD has been hurting. And AMD is one of my favorite companies right now. Which I find funny because I was always Intel. I was never AMD, but AMD has leapfrogged. They completely changed the game now. But
we were playing options on AMD. I remember playing with them when they were like $8, $9, $10.
Yeah. Imagine if we had just bought leaps and just sat on them. Man. Like we would just be retired and just not even care.
Chilling.
Yeah. Man. And it's but we're things we talk about all the time. We playing with different money now. We have a different mindset now. Like we're not who we were.
That's
what I mean? So
that's facts.
Yeah. So now the whole thing is just like you're looking for that next one.
Because there'll always be a next one.
There'll always be a next one.
One thing I've learned in the game: when you miss out on the play, it's not that you missed out. You just didn't capitalize on that opportunity. But now you just wait for the next one to present itself. There's always going to be opportunity in the market.
Yeah, because if you don't start the company, somebody else will. Yeah. So there's going to be money there. We're going to eat.
Already.
So already. So I'm definitely but I'm feeling this one. I might have to put some money in this.
So when it comes to NVIDIA, and I get that the stock split's going to happen, it'll probably, right now, best case scenario, drop down to 162. So now you think people are going to buy. My question is, or something I'm thinking about, when these companies, not just NVIDIA, but what happened with Tesla when they did their 5-for-1 stock split? What did Tesla tank after the stock split, or did it start taking off?
It started taking off. It actually started taking off right before the split. It started taking off, and it did not stop. It was like this unlimited run. So after the split, because it was like, all right, it's going to make this company, cheap enough for the regular investor. But then after the split, it ran up to like $900.
Yep.
And I was like, so it's not even affordable anymore.
Yep.
And now, now they come back down to, the 5s and 6s,
So is that So, because
625.
The reason why I'm asking this because I'm wondering, because I told you I'm on my options game, so I'm looking at different options plays. Is it the norm, and I need to do some researching and some backtracking, some back testing to see what typically happens with the company when it does, like a big company like this, and they do a 4-for-1 split or a 3-for-1. What happens that week following? Is it typical that they always run up? Because if they always run up, I'm thinking maybe I want to jump in on the call option right before the split. But then I wonder, should you even make it? Can you even make that option play before the split? Then how does that look once the price does split? Because let's say now I get an option for 700, but then the shit splits down to 162. Like, what is that? How does that look? Do they then
your option adjust accordingly?
It'll adjust accordingly. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I actually did some research on this around the time of the Tesla split. So your option is gonna adjust accordingly. So
if I got a $600 strike price, once the 4-for-1 split happens, now I'll have a $200 strike price.
Or like a 150, something like that.
Yeah.
It's gonna adjust accordingly.
It's gonna coincide with
yeah. So you should be good no matter what. That's not a concern of mine. How because obviously, the market is set up in a way where they're prepared for these things.
Right.
So they're going to make the adjustments. They know how to make the adjustments for the splits. Whether it's a split, a reverse split, whatever it may be, the markets are prepared for that. So I don't care about that part.
Okay.
All I care about is the fact that it's because the stock split is nothing. It's just about perception. It's doing nothing for the company. It's doing nothing for the company except it's making them more affordable
for the retail investor.
Yeah.
Until it jumps up so much to where it's no longer affordable.
like what Tesla did. Yeah. Yeah. It's like Tesla. If Tesla could have, when they were at $900 something, they could have done another split right then. Yep. They could have been like, yo, you know what? We're doing a 10-for-1. Bring it down to $90. And let's see what happens.
Run back up to a stack.
Yeah. It's like it's so crazy. The fact that what happens is, and it's all about the perception and it's, I'm trying to think of the word for it, but it's basically it's like psychology. It's like, I'm not going to charge you $50 for this item. I'm going to charge you $49.99, and you think you're getting a deal. They doing the same thing, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to capitalize on this one.
Yeah, and that's how we continue to be that smart money. We start capitalizing when they're manipulating. We're capitalizing on their manipulation.
Real.
But again, here at Stocks is talking with Ibn Getz. Ibn Getz, we are not financial advisors, people. We are simply two cats that love investing. We love to talk about it. But at the end of the day, you always have to do your due diligence. You have to trade at your own risk, at your own discretion, and always do what's best for your portfolio. Yo, this is episode 10, Getz. I'm excited. I'm happy that we just have a faithful audience of viewership that's really rocking with us. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, people. Stocks is Talking Podcast with Ibn Getz. We're also on IG. That's Ib_Getz_podcast. You also got to fuck with us on Twitter. Twitter, IB_Getz_pod. That's where we're living. Also, we're on the Discord, which has been popping. We got a lot of good regular people just chopping it up with us, giving ideas back and forth about the markets, about investing, cryptos, options. We're doing it all in the Discord. Guess how can they reach us on there?
Yeah, they gotta hit us up on the socials. We're gonna put the invite out there.
Boom. Hit us up on the socials. Say, hey, I want to be a part of the Discord. What do I have to do? We're gonna shoot you a link that's gonna allow you to click on it and come and be a part of the Discord family. We love chopping it up with you all, people. Hope you have a great start to the week. That's it. That's all, folks.
We out.